Lightbrite here. I think I'll call this chapter Discrepencies, chapter 21. I just want to go through discrepancies in letters when they write you, and we do all this appealing. You get the decision letter. You request a review of that decision, and they give you a number. They check it out, and if they think that it's good, then you can go to WCAT. But in cases where over and over and over again you've proven a particular thing, then they say that you can take it to the ombudsman. I did take my case to the ombudsman, and he told me, the ombudsman man told me, they couldn't help me with anything at all until everything was exhausted on my husband's claim. There was nowhere else to take it. It was dead and buried. Alright? So that was another heartbreak when I opened that letter, because I honestly thought the ombudsman would have helped. But they didn't. Or they might have later. Like, I'm still not done with WCB yet. So anyway, here's an instance. My husband went and got I won the decision to get my husband into a reassessment for his brain. Now, you know, that brain might not have been that bad if they would have just caught the infection that was behind his brow bone after when he got his head caved in, and they fixed it all. And he had all those headaches. A year and a half into it, I finally got calling in to get him into a CT. Maybe they could see something in there giving him these debilitating headaches. Well, when it came back, he did have an infection behind his brow bone. So they gave him antibiotics. And then they just prescribed a, 8 or 10 week course, whatever the antibiotics are. And then they still did not go back in to see if that was cleared up. Can you believe that? They didn't. He didn't even request it. Anyway, Colin got that letter, and then he wrote me a letter from that decision, and he said that he would actually accept the traumatic brain injury on fact of the report that he had. So that was good that he did that, but like, this is all a catch-22. He says that in the review division decision of February 26th, they indicated that you were entitled to a referral to a neuropsychological assessment. They left it to the board to adjudicate entitlement to any benefits that arose as a result of the neuropsychological assessment. When that came back, they had reported that there was memory problems there, and he was suffering from a traumatic blow to the head injury. So, he says, it is my decision to accept your claim for a traumatic brain injury as a result of the incident under this claim. I also accept the limitations noted in the neuropsychological report of July 13, 2007 as being the result of the traumatic brain injury now accepted under your claim. The neuropsychological report recommends education be provided to you regarding the nature of head injuries and to explore strategies to assist in your daily level of functioning. Therefore, I will make arrangements for an occupational therapist or other appropriately trained healthcare professional to provide this information for you. Okay, so when this went out in 2007, August, he hired a lady named Trish White out of Creston. And she came once a week from Creston. The board paid for her to come down here, stay overnight in a hotel, pay for 2 meals, the night meal and the breakfast meal, and go home. And she was hired to do 3 months, right? So it was both good and bad. I was glad that they were actually going to find out. However, every time they sent Jamie to somebody else, I was totally elated. I thought that they could cure him. And when I found out they weren't going to be able to, I was pretty sad. Anyways, After he did that, he also wrote, a team meeting was held with the medical, psychologist, and vocational rehabilitation consultant to review this report. The concerns reported by you and your employer regarding your performances at work were noted. It was also noted that despite the limitations identified in the neuropsychological report, you have been able to continue to function in an employment setting. It was also noted that you have received a raise from $17 to $20 per hour from your employer. This is all wrong. That statement was wrong. It was false. He did not get a raise from his employer. In fact, when I read this letter, I was pretty upset. I phoned Colin and I said, where are you getting this raise thing from? He got fired 2 days ago. So, then he wrote me back after I told him that, and he said, this letter is further to my conversation with your wife on September 7th, 07. At that time, she indicated that you had not received a pay raise from $17 to $20 per hour, and that your employment with your present employer had been terminated as of September 7th. And it was. In order for me to proceed any further with your investigating this, I would need the company names and phone numbers of your employers and the name of a contact person with each employer. Please also include the time period you worked for each employer and the reasons for the employment ending. Okay, so I did do that. I then came back with this little bit, Colin Holt, on the date there. Okay, and it says to him, you know, he was in school, information that Mr. Holt has asked for in the letter dated September 18th. So I have that Mr. Larwell started his retraining in fall of 04. He went to, in May 05, he went to SAIT in Calgary. First year was completed May 05. During the summer months that followed, Mr. Larwell retained employment for work practicum on May 23rd with Alpine Automotive. The deal was $17 per hour. The funny thing about that is I would go ahead of Jamie and kind of scope out the area and see if we could get him in the door, because Golden is a small town and we're actually always looking for certified mechanics. So there's a lot of work here for mechanics that have tickets. Not like the pipe fitter job that Ina went to get him. The pipe fitter job, guys. There was no pipe fitter job in Golden, and she even knew that. And that's the retraining package that she went with. She knew he owned a house here. She knew he lived here his whole life. She was willing to get the board to move him. She would have done that route. That would have been so, so, so ludicrous to do that to somebody because they got hurt, don't you think? Absolutely no pipe fitting jobs. It makes no sense. Anyways, his class theory finished spring of 06. Finishing his studies that summer in June 8, 06. And we landed him a job. Well, I actually got him a job at Moberly Mechanical now. Moberly Mechanical is very, very tiny. We were very happy that he was put in there because, you know, it's really lackadaisical. However, he got laid off and I got him another job within days at Tirecraft. So you know, if he can get these jobs like that, it was because he had to have good marks in his school, because that's all he had to show, and he did that. He had to do what he had to do. So he went to, I got him into Tirecraft. The wage negotiated for that position was $20. So although Colin actually picked up the $20 and the $17, why couldn't he have read the paperwork and noticed that it wasn't for the same company? Right? But he didn't. The wage negotiated was $20 an hour, with the manager of Tirecraft, Tim, promise of a raise in 3 months. As work went on and the inability to pay his monthly living expenses, he found other employment at which he is presently employed. Yeah, he was promised a lot of things from Tirecraft. I think what happened was they kind of noticed what was going on with Jamie because they started to phone me. Anyways, it's 9:39. I'm going to shut off this one right now. I'm going to label the next one, Chapter 22, Discrepancies Continued. And I will log back on. So Lightbrite out. Thanks for watching.